Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to create some thumbnail sketches. In order to do that, our worksheet this time is a little bit different. So we're going to start with the back of a drill page. You notice it does not say drills, QAD anywhere on this page. It's a nice white page. You're going to take this little strip of a worksheet that I've handed you, and we're going to carefully, not using a super amount of glue, glue the outside edge. Now, when gluing this down, you can either put it along a side or along the top. It's entirely up to you which direction you want your page to go, but you do want it along an edge so that there is plenty of space to draw. If you put it in the center, the thing that we need to trace is not going to fit next to it. So you want to put it along an edge. Then you are going to take this, and this you can trace in pencil or marker. Sometimes it's a little easier to trace in marker in case we have to do some erasing. That way our lines don't get erased. You're going to trace this at least 4 times. The worksheet says 3 or 4. Every once in a great while I'll tell you 3, especially if we are in a semester that has a whole bunch of testing. You can organize them in any way you want. You can make them like parallel and neat, or you can do kind of whatever you want. I make mine a little artistic. It's up to you, but you need to make sure that all 4 are traced, they don't overlap at any point, and all 4 have all corners, so you can't cut any of the corners off the edge of the page because you need to be able to draw inside all of them. Now, what we are doing is we are creating our illuminated logo. So if we go through the directions, we are going to brainstorm several different ways of making your sketchbook cover. So this is your rough draft. So this is our rough draft. So each box is going to be a different rough draft. Each box needs all the rules of a good composition, which are listed below here. So you've got to, it can't be centered. It has to have at least 3 cropping, which is objects going off the page. It needs to have 3 overlapping. It needs to have balance. We're going to ignore colors this time around because we're going to be doing this mainly in black and white. So having balance of objects, and it needs to fill the page, which includes a background and having objects that touch 3 or more sides. Alright, in order to do all this, we need some stuff. So the stuff that you are going to include is this stuff right here, which is your combined letters in a patterned font. That's from the last worksheet we created. 2 to 4 symbols of your job and company. That's from the first worksheet. So this is the second worksheet, this is the first worksheet, and the last thing is something you have to create for this, which is a background pattern. Alright, so our background pattern can be something that you steal from these pattern packets, or it can be something that you make up all on your own. You might want to look through these pattern packets even if you're making up one of your own to get some kind of interesting ideas. You want to break up the background into very small spaces. That's important for our next step. Okay? So, in each box, I'm going to flip back and look at it's upside down, but let's start with that one. So you can choose to do, for your pattern fonts, you can do both of the ones you like, or you can do one. If you only like one of them, do all 4 with one, otherwise do both. So start with your letters, nice and big, make it fill the box. See how I've already got 2 of my cropping, and I haven't even finished my letters yet. I've got my SC. Now remember, this is a rough draft. It doesn't have to be super detailed. It doesn't have to be super perfect. All we're looking at this time around is composition. So then I'm going to make sure I know that this is my pattern, but I don't have to fill it in. I can just put a couple in there, and I know that that's going to fill in that space. So then I have to include 2 to 4 symbols of my company. I think I'm going to do my music one, so let's go back to my music. Let's look at my music fonts. What did I have for music? I had I had notes, I had music notes, I had the drum set, I had the singer. So let's start with the music notes, and I'm going to get my overlapping out of the way and put my music notes across 5. Now in creating those music notes, maybe I've got to put my treble clef and some of my musical notes. See, now my overlap, now I've got some overlapping because this is overlapping that. So maybe I erase what gets overlapped so I know that one thing is on top of the other. Another reason not to put in your patterns yet. Let's put this pattern back up here so I remember that that's where it needs to go. I've got my musical notes going across. Maybe since I've got my singer, I will put my singer over here. See, it doesn't have to be super detailed yet. But see, I've got another cropping with my singer, and the music notes are kind of coming out of their mouth. Now I've got a bit of a big empty space here, so maybe I'll turn and put my drum set over here. So it's also, I've got some more overlapping here, I've got some overlapping here. Add my drum set so I know that this is, so I know that's a drum and not just a shape. And maybe I'll add something else up here. What else could I add? I don't know. Maybe I'll just make this a little bigger. I don't really like adding something else up there. Maybe I'll just make that a little bigger and a little rounder up there so it fills up more of the space. Maybe I'll make my letters a little thicker. Alright, and now that I have all that, now I can pick my background pattern. Let's see, what do I want to do for a background pattern? Let's look through the packet. I kind of like, here's the one I kind of liked before. Kind of like this one. So let's do something with that. Let's kind of draw the lines across, and we'll do some nice big shapes. Now, because my pattern is in the background, it goes behind all the other stuff, which is one reason why you should put off doing it till the last step, so that it goes behind everything else and it doesn't overlap anything. So it comes down here, and I see a little bit of it. Now, I don't have to fill this in, I don't have to make it all perfect. As long as I've got an idea that this is going through the whole thing, I can kind of draw these lines and be done. Alright, so you need to complete 4 thumbnail sketches that have all the rules of a good composition, that have all the things that we've created through our worksheets with a background pattern.